Hi everyone, good evening, a very good evening to all of you. Alright, I once again welcome all the participants to this great evening. And I must tell you, I'm very inspired having you people on the chat. Now, youngsters looking forward to joining the civil services. Now, this evening we are going to be looking at considering civil services as a great career opportunity. Now, there are 5 things that I would be talking about. 1, why should young people choose this as a career? And then we will look at the examination process. We will look at the new pattern. There has been a change in the pattern since the last year. And how to get started for this examination with a strong footing. And at the end, I would like to take your questions. So boys and girls, you will need to wait after I complete to get your questions answered. So I really don't know how long it would exactly go, but something around maybe say 30 to 40 minutes. I would like to talk, and then you guys are welcome to put forward your questions. Now, the first thing, the very moment you think of joining the civil services, I would like you to look at the 2 words, civil and service. Now, of course, we are talking about a civilized service, and the fundamental purpose here is to serve the people, serve the society, serve the nation, serve the humanity. Now, many people I've seen, they have a different mindset when they start preparing for this service. I mean, they, instead of being a civil servant, they in fact have a mindset of becoming a civil master. Now, I would invite all of you to transform this attitude. If you truly want to make a career in public service, this is a great place to be in. Now, I would like you people to answer one question just for yourself. Would you like to be an ordinary civil servant or an extraordinary civil servant? Now, if I had to answer this question for myself at your age, I would definitely choose to be an extraordinary civil servant. Not just any civil servant. An officer making all the difference that was possible for me to be in the most efficient manner, at the fastest pace. You see, the country needs dynamic, energetic, enthusiastic young boys and girls, who with a great zeal to cause the greatest possible impact, positive impact on the society. Now, I'm sure those of you who are with me on the chat, you are definitely considering being an extraordinary civil servant. That's the reason you are here. And the truth is that the seed of extraordinariness is already there. It's already there in you. It's just that you need to recognize it, water it, take care of it, allow it to grow. Just allow it to grow. It will definitely bear fruits. All you need is a deep willingness and the commitment to make it happen. All right. So, having said that, one question that youngsters ask me often in the seminars and lecture sessions as to what qualities we need to be an extraordinary civil servant. Now you see, I really do not want to answer this question in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wouldn't like to, because I want all you guys to be thinking beings. Now, the moment I say that, I would like you to look at it like, how would you like your public servants to be? How would you like your IAS and IPS officers to be? How would you like your ministers to be? And if you just make an attempt to answer this question, I'm sure it would be very easy for you to answer this question. You would like them to be people of highest integrity. You would want them to be uncorrupt and incorruptible. You would like them to be, dynamic, enthusiastic, making decisions fast, and the right decisions, the best decisions, that contributes to the development of human beings, development of the society and the country. Now, I would just like you to pick up a piece of paper and a pen and start jotting how would you like them to be. All right. I hope it is clear now. All right. Okay. Thank you. I am attempting to be loud enough. Thanks. So, I was asking you this question. How would you like your civil servants and your ministers, people in authority to be like? Pick up a piece of paper and jot it down. And you will find your answers. This is a job of great responsibility, and you will need to prepare yourself to deliver on that responsibility. And I'm sure you people are willing to. Now, as for, let me get down to the process of examination. Hello? Am I audible? Thanks. I will again make sure that I'm loud enough. Okay, so let's look at the process of examination. Now, those of you who are beginning to prepare for this examination, it is a 3-step process. The first step is the preliminary with 2 papers of 200 marks each. And the first paper is the general knowledge, or we prefer calling it as general studies. And the second paper, which has been recently introduced in the new pattern, that's called the CSAT, or the Civil Services Aptitude Test. So that's for 200 marks each, and the entire preliminary examination is of the objective type, the multiple choice question type. So it's all objective. It is fundamentally a test of your ability to recognize the right answers. All right? But I want you to understand that this is just a qualifying examination. The preliminary is a qualifying examination. Your marks in the preliminary will not be added to your final scores while you will be ranked. Now, if you got that, I would put it as the clearing the preliminary examination just gets you an admission ticket, just an admission ticket for the main examination. You will be allowed to write the examination. Now, as for the main examination, if we look at the main examination, the main examination is a completely subjective type examination, and you see the total examination is for 1750 marks with 7 papers. There are 4 papers of general studies worth total of 1000 marks, 250 marks worth essay paper, and another 500 marks worth an optional paper, or that is of your choice. You need to select the optional paper out of a long list of optional subjects and languages that are there available in the Gazette. You can access it on the UPSC site. Now that's available. So this main examination is a subjective type, essay type examination, which is worth 1750 marks. And those of you who will clear the main examination, you move to the next level, that is the interview, the personality test, where you will be facing a board of 5 members, very senior members, with an average age of maybe about 60 years, people with tremendous collective wisdom as a board, and vast experience in selecting people for this examination. Now, that's as for the process of examination. Your marks in the main and the interview will be added, and you will be ranked on the basis of your marks, and you will be allotted the services according to your preference and the marks that you would have got. Both would be considered. Now that's as for the process of examination. Now if we look at the new pattern, you see, since last year examination, 2013 examination, there has been a major shift in the syllabus, in the pattern of examination, and it would be important and necessary to look at this examination pattern, the new pattern that we have. Now, as for the new pattern, you see the standards of examination have been raised further. The whole pattern has become far more analytical than what it used to be in the past. I would say there has always been some factual content. In fact, in the preliminary examination, we can expect about 40 to 50% of factual content, of course, backed up by analysis and understanding. The main examination is mostly analytical, and it is far more analytical than what it used to be in the past. So, I would say one major shift that has happened in this new pattern is it has become far more analytical than what it used to be in the past. A second shift that we can talk about is like in the new education pattern, there is something called learning by doing. Not just theory, not just memorizing or collecting information, and reproducing it in the examination. So in line with the shift from factual to analytical, we also find that there is a shift from theory to application. Less theory and more application. I would say the new pattern would work better through learning by doing, or I would say experiential learning. If we internalize and practice more, we will be far better equipped to handle this new examination. There is a new paper on ethics, integrity and aptitude that's entirely to do with our attitude, what we do in our lives, how we live our lives, how we lead our lives. That gets reflected, and that will surely get reflected in the examination that we will write there. The essay paper is of a similar nature. I mean, it is almost impossible to prepare or memorize and go and reproduce in the examination. Almost impossible. In fact, this whole examination is a test of your ability to deal with the unexpected. The preliminary is very much like that. The main has a huge element, a great element. In fact, the entire main examination is designed, the entire interview is designed to test your alertness, your spontaneity, your ability to deal with unexpected questions and situations taking place all over the world every now and then. So that has been brought in a much bigger way in the new pattern. And I was, as I was saying earlier, that you see, the general studies paper has been expanded. Earlier it used to be 600 marks, now it has increased to 1000 marks. The optional papers have been reduced from 1200 marks to just 500 marks. So if we see, a major shift that has happened in the new pattern is from the specialist to the generalist. Now the generalist element in the examination has been has been brought in a big way. It's like the generalist element earlier may have been just about, you see, 600 out of 2000. That would have been just about 30%. And now it has been increased to about 60%. So there's a huge shift there. So somewhere civil services, the UPSC is looking forward to people who are well exposed to the world around, who are well educated on that, who are alert, who are interested in the world around. No? I would say keenly interested, deeply interested in the world around them. So these are some of the major shifts that we notice in the new pattern. And it definitely becomes more challenging than what it used to be today, what it used to be in the past. Now, I would invite all of you to look at one more element. You see, I've been training for the civil services for the past 22 years. Now, see, my experience has been that it's not raising the standard of the examination that would ensure a better quality intake. More important than this is the quality of people writing this examination. So it's the quality of the students who appear, the quality of the candidates, the examinees who appear at the examination. I mean, you see, no matter how tough the examination is, how good the examination process is, ultimately they have to choose from the people who will be writing the examination. Now, if we got that, I am not so much interested in what UPSC is intending to do. I am more concerned about what the country is ultimately going to get. And are you going to be one who will be extraordinary? You will be giving or gifting one extraordinary human being, one extraordinary IAS officer to this nation. And if you are willing to do that, well, the country needs you. The UPSC will lap you up. So I would like you to consider working on yourself, transforming yourself. So, in fact, we at ALS, we are precisely doing that. We have given our life to building the capacity of the students, transforming them, in fact, creating an enabling environment where the students can learn and grow and transform and build their capacity to make a difference at an entirely new level. Now, if you got this, I would like to have a word with you all as to how to get started for the civil services. Now, You see, I would like to express myself on three things here. One, you need to work on yourself. Build your capacity to learn and transform yourself. Now, it's about capacity building. It will be very difficult for the young guys and girls who have just graduated, engineers, doctors, MBAs, to clear this examination using the same old methods that you have been using at the school and the college level. It would be very challenging and very difficult. In fact, it would not be wise to do that. Because in the college, we had some semester system or some annual examination. There would be so much of gap that we would have between every paper. Like we did one subject over 3 years or 4 years, maybe medical science over 5 years, writing so many different papers. Here, you'll be writing all papers in a matter of just, say, a week. Entire geography paper, say for example, if it is your optional, or history, or maybe political science or public administration, the whole thing, what you would have otherwise written over 3 years or 5 years, here you'll be writing in a matter of 6 hours. Entire general studies in a matter of 2 days, 4 papers over 2 days. So there isn't much time, there is hardly any gap between the examination. It all happens one after the other. Especially in the new pattern, the whole examination is spread over just about a week. Now, if we get that, I was talking about how to get started. Now, the first thing I would suggest you to build a strong foundation. Now, when I say that, let's look at the tallest structures in the world have the strongest foundations and the deepest foundation. The taller you want to grow, deeper you will need to dig. Now, this one mantra, most people fail to acknowledge and appreciate. Now, since you guys have joined me, I would invite you not to miss on this mantra. The first step is to create and build a strong and unshakable foundation for yourself. Now the question would be, how? Now, I would suggest, without a second thought, you people must buy or download. It is available on the net, free of cost. So you can either buy or download all the NCERT books from standard 6th to 12th and pick out the relevant books. In fact, majority of them would be relevant. So I would say the books on history, geography, civics and political science, economics, especially these four, I repeat, history, geography, politics, including civics, or social studies starting from class 6th, and economics starting from class 9. So these 4 areas, as many books are there in the NCERT, you must read them. A couple of exceptions we can make in economics, like microeconomic theory will not be needed. So you can look into the syllabus and maybe put aside 1 or 2 books like that. I would say entire set on history, geography, civics, polity and economics would be needed, with some exception, 1 or 2 exception in the books on economics, and this list would be available. You can contact us later and we can send you a mailer on that. So that's that. And certain books on sociology, especially Indian society. Some of you could also be reading the books on science, but not technical and advanced science at the level of class 11th and 12th. If you are looking forward to the 11th and 12th NCERT, it's just the application, applied sciences, or the element of technology. So you can generally put aside the 11th and 12th books on physics, chemistry, mathematics and biology. You need not consider them. You need not consider them, except for maybe certain chapters which are application oriented. So as far as sciences are concerned, I would advise the books from class 6 to 10th, mainly from 6 to 10th, with some selected chapters at the 11th and 12th level. Now, that's about working on the foundation. So, I would like you to appreciate the key idea. The key idea is you must revise, remake, rebuild all that you learned, or I would say all that you were supposed to learn during your secondary and the higher secondary levels. So that is from class 6 to 12, all that you were supposed to learn, all the skills that you were supposed to pick up, all the knowledge that you were supposed to, acquire. I would like you people to get that back. Make that happen for yourself again. So the most important, I repeat, because that question is coming up, I repeat, start with the NCERT books. I have already given a list. So it's like redoing the entire secondary and higher secondary curriculum. Alright? Now, if you got that, now I would not like any of you to bypass that step. I mean, that has been one mantra to clear the civil services examination. I mean, since our days, I wrote and cleared this examination in 1990. And even our seniors used to tell us about doing the NCERT books, and the tradition continues. They're so beautifully written. They're so beautifully crafted. So I would like all of you to buy the complete set and start reading them. Now, the other books can follow. Now, having done, say, like your polity, you can move on to certain other books, like you can read Subhash Kashyap's Our Parliament, Subhash Kashyap's Constitution of India, or you can pick up a book like Didi Basu. Like history, if you're reading, besides the NCERT books, you can read the NBT, Struggle for Independence by Bipin Chandra, Post-Independence History by Bipin Chandra and others. So, you can move to the other books at a later stage, not right away. I would suggest you first go through the NCERT books. Even if you have started preparing, even if you started preparing maybe 6 months back or 1 year back, and if you have bypassed this step, I would like you to do this. You must. Only when you do it that you will realize how significant it is. And don't get into a confusion between the old NCERTs and new NCERT books. I will just suggest buy the new ones, the entire set, and work on it. The old will be taken care of. Now that's one thing. Now, when you are reading the NCERT books, when you're beginning to read, I would definitely suggest that you underline the book. Maybe 10, 15, 20% of underlining can happen. Identify the key points, key facts, key concepts. Underline them. Not too much underlining. Underline them, whatever is necessary. And when you have completed your first reading with underlining, I would like you people to revise it at least 4 or 5 times. It will take very little time to revise what you have underlined. In fact, if you take X amount of time, say 20 hours of time reading and underlining a certain book, you can revise 5 times, maybe 7 times in the same number of hours that you took to read the book. In fact, half the time you could be revising it 5 times. So if you spend 20 hours reading a certain book, reading and underlining, just in about 10 hours you can revise it 5, 6, 7 times. Now that would be extremely important, because you see, we read too much but retain too little. Very little is registered in our system. Now that's a bad business that most students do. I would suggest you to honor what I'm saying, try it, and you will see the results. So memorizing the key facts, the key ideas, the key concepts would be very important. Now that's one. The second thing that I would like all of you to get started right away is developing an interest in the world around. Now when I say that, you see, civil services is about making a difference in the world out there. Now, unless we know about the world, how are we going to make the right choices? It would be impossible to do that. So we must have a good grounding into our understanding of the world around us. Now, see, it's not just about reading newspapers or magazines. More fundamental is being truly interested in the world around. Now, how do we do that? I would like you to pick up one newspaper, any standard national newspaper. I would not like to recommend any particular. You want to choose Times of India or Hindustan Times or Hindu or the Indian Express. The choice is yours, completely yours. You need to get used to a certain paper and choose a standard one. Choose a national daily. So make sure that you have chosen one of the best newspapers and keeping track of that. Start to read certain magazines. Now, when you are starting to read the best of the magazines, whatever is available. The idea is to get interested in the world around. Now, a third thing I would suggest is watching television, news analysis, or current affairs programs on national and international events, right? So prefer the analysis rather than the factual presentations. Now, these three things, newspapers, magazines, and watching television news, maybe NDTV or maybe CNBC, maybe Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha channel. No, look for social issues, look for issues that impact the lives of the masses, the people at large. So I repeat for you, the first I said, get started with the NCERT books. Don't read the other books. Even if you have started with the other advanced books, get back to your NCERT. Second, get interested in the world around. Through newspapers, magazines, news channels, news analysis, on the television or on the internet, All India Radio, all that is available on the net. No, you can access their site, keep the recordings. So, get interested in the world around. Now, most often, when you start doing all this, one thing that will keep nagging you is you do not know the background. You don't know the background of the events. And that will work as a constraint on your appreciation of the current issues. So I would suggest all of you to make a file, identify some 50 issues, and one by one look into the history of it. Explore on the net. Like if you're reading Southwest Asia, look at the history of Southwest Asia. If you're studying Indo-US relations, just history of Indo-US relations, type Google and you get all that. Or Indo-Pak relations, or say if we are talking about communalism or Naxalism, all that is available on the net. So once you work on the history, once you work on now the background, you will be able to appreciate what you will be reading in the newspapers or magazines or what you will be hearing on the television news. So two things I talked about. I'm repeating. One, NCERT is a comprehensive list, and I have already said go for the new NCERT books. Don't be in confusion, old and new. New NCERT books are brilliantly written and designed. Just follow them. Second, newspaper, whatever you choose, magazine, whatever you choose the best ones. Choose India class and world class, and the news channels, India class and world class. Alright? Get started. If you are interested, you will find your way. So that's a second recommendation from my side. And a third, which is even more fundamental than the first two. I have seen a large number of people who are preparing for this examination, they are not able to express themselves powerfully, effectively, both in their written and spoken communication. I don't know what has happened to the youngsters at large. They have not been taking care of their language. They're not powerful enough. They're not inspiring enough. They do not have clarity enough. Now, if you're looking forward to being leader of humanity, now looking forward to be an extraordinary civil servant, You must have an extraordinary capacity to communicate with people in the world. Now, you must pick up a language that I would like to call it as the leader's language. Leader's language. The way powerful and effective leaders talk, the way they write, there is a certain language. It's not the ordinary language that we, come across in our daily life. And I would certainly say your NCRT uses that language. I would like you to read and listen to the greatest speeches, collect the greatest of the quotations. They contain tremendous wisdom. You will automatically get a sense of the leader's language. Read the policy papers on the government sites, ministry sites. They use that language. So, I would like you to start working on your language. Why? Because language is the vehicle of communication. If this vehicle is not in proper shape, we will not be able to move far. In fact, all knowledge travels in a vehicle called language. If we have limitations in our language, we will have limitations in understanding, limitations in presenting our ideas, because all ideas are created in language. So, one most fundamental, most important advice from my side will be to start working on your language. Now the question would be how? Now, a very simple formula, I would like you people to write it down, reflect on it, and implement it. Now, how deeply you reflect and implement, I will leave it to you. So the mantra there is collect, memorize, and repeatedly revise the best of the statements and the quotations on all kinds of issues and concerns that the humanity is faced with. So I repeat what I said. I said collect, memorize, and I would like to underline the word memorize, and repeatedly revise best of the best. If I have to choose an expression, I would say world-class statements and quotations. And if you do that, if you repeatedly keep doing that, collecting, memorizing, and repeatedly revising, you will be feeding great ideas into your system, into your mind. And over a period of time, if you keep doing this, they will start showing up in your writing, in your thinking, in your understanding, in your communication. When you speak in front of people, they will help you build on new ideas and great ideas. Now, I've been talking for long. I'd said maybe 30 to 40 minutes, but it's almost 50 minutes now. So, let's see if you have certain questions. I welcome your questions. Yes, you can start sending your questions. I saw certain questions and I tried answering. Now, one question that came up was, can an average person clear the civil services examination? Now, I would say, you see, It's only the ordinary people who do extraordinary feats, who accomplish extraordinary work. See, if it were extraordinary people doing extraordinary things, we will not call those things as extraordinary. So it is possible for an average person to prepare, to stay committed. It could take maybe 1.5 years, 2 years time to transform yourself, and it is possible to clear this examination. Now, one person is raising this question, what about people who are working, should they leave their job? Now, I would like to say that it depends, it is purely a personal choice. I generally recommend a time of about 18 to 24 months. 18 to 24 months for a complete preparation for the civil services examination, including the foundation. Maybe the foundation work takes about 4 to 6 months. Now, this is kind of a full-time preparation, reading about, say, studying about 10 to 12 hours, say, spending about 50% of the time, out of 24 hours. Now, if somebody is working, I would suggest you should take some extra time, because you will normally not get more than 3 to 4 hours a day. So maybe you can stretch your preparation over a longer period of time. Alright? So that's one question that I got from you. Now, the second thing that's coming up again is how much time it could take to prepare for this examination. I'm repeating, 18 to 24 months would be a good time. For an above average person, or people who have been good at studies all through life, maybe they can manage it in 12 to 18 months. Alright? Now, okay. Someone is saying 18 to 24 months seems impractical. Well, the amount of work that needs to be done is fairly large, fairly huge. So Fazal, I hope you're listening. Yeah. But you see, that's the need of this examination. That's the need of the examination. Shubhangi, sorry, I missed your question. Just hold on. Yeah. Okay, wait. Some question I would like to take. Some last few questions. Someone is asking, Kavya, is philosophy optional scoring? Now I have something to say for all the students now who are considering choosing any optional. I would say that it's not the optionals that are scored. It is the examinee who scores. So you will need to score in the optional. All optionals are more or less equally scoring. I say more or less. And I would again say, people are asking questions on optionals. I would say all optionals are good. The only test is, are you interested in it? Will you make it happen? People have made it happen with all optionals. All options. Aditya, I find you say is in anthropology difficult to cram. No, not really. And you don't need to cram. You need to study, enjoy, understand and appreciate rather than cramming. Manisha has a question. Is it possible to study for civils while doing the prelims 2014? No, sorry. Sorry. Manisha, it is, I lost your question. It's coming fast. Just wait, let me track your question. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Sumit has a question. He's saying, can we complete the syllabus for pre in 6 months? Sumit, definitely. Definitely. In fact, I would like to give one suggestion. Don't just look at preparing for the preliminary. You must look at the whole examination, as one entity. And you must go for an integrated preparation, because preparing for mains would take much time, and you must keep that in mind as you prepare for the preliminary. Manisha is asking, can we prepare while doing job? Definitely, yes. It will just take time. It will just take some extra time and effort on your part, Manisha, and you would definitely be able to do it. Someone is asking how we should read newspapers. Okay. See, while reading newspapers, I would say that, 90% of what is in the newspaper is not useful. Is not useful for this examination. Just about 10%, maybe even less. Maybe even less. So I would like you to focus on the editorial page. I would like you to focus on certain key analysis presented by expert journalists or expert, writers in their relevant fields. So maybe just about, on an average, 5 to 6 articles or 5 to 6 spaces in the newspaper every day should be good enough. Maybe say about 40 to 45 minutes time, should be good enough. Initially when you start it would take more time, but you can settle down with about 40 to 45 minutes, 5 to 6 pieces in the newspaper, and maybe 10 minutes for scanning the newspaper, just the headlines. That should be good enough. Alright? Now, Wasim is asking, can one start preparation today and still crack civil services examination 14? It all depends on you. There are people who have been able to do it, Wasim, and it's definitely possible. It depends upon your commitment, and it depends upon your strategy, what strategy you adopt in your preparation. Yeah, Subhangi has a question. He says how to keep ourselves motivated for this examination. I would say have a list of people with whom you can talk, those people who inspire you, alright? And eat well, rest well, exercise, and create a group which is positive, alright? You need to create a positive environment for yourself, So have a more number of people who would inspire you and you inspire them. Yes. Yes. Some more questions. Let me see. Says, sir, I'm in the third year of BTech. I'm confused that whether I should go for job or prepare or drop. I would like to tell you that it would be good to consider maybe 1 year of work experience after completing your BTech. Yeah? It would be good to consider that. And maybe then prepare for this examination. You would have some industry experience that would help you even in the interview and help you know and understand the world. So I would recommend 1 to 2 years of work after your BTech, and meanwhile you can keep preparing. Alright? I've already given the brief changes in the new pattern of examination, the key points. Number of attempts, there have been 4 attempts for the general candidates. They have been increased by 2 attempts recently. Yes? Some more questions? Yeah, Harshit, I have already talked about NCERT books and certain other books. You can get in touch with us. We can send you a mailer on what study material to go about. We have the ALS study material now. So you can join our courses, online or VSET courses, and it would be great. It would help you accelerate the whole process of learning. No? Okay. Okay. Now, maybe one last question. Somebody is asking for the pass percentage for the preliminary. Say, you can work with out of 400 marks. I would expect you to start looking for about 230 to 250 marks. If you are able to crack about 250 marks, definitely you will get through. I mean, nothing will stop you from doing that. No, nothing will stop you, prevent you from getting through the examination. Now, can we close? Yeah? Let me see. Maybe 1 or 2 questions. Last questions. Eaton IAS has, it's being scrolled so fast that I can't. Wait. Alright, we'll call it a day. You guys can get in touch with Eaton and ALS, through our sites, through the mailers, and we will get back to you. So great chatting with you people. Wonderful. And I wish you all the best in all your endeavors. Thank you so much. Bye-bye and good night. Thank you.